And there you have it, guys. There are more people complaining about Oleksander Usyk, and they demand that he gets stripped after seeing him play football while injured. And let me counterpunch, man. At this point, I don't think Oleksander Usyk cares. I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares about what people think. I don't think he cares about fans as far as what people say about him on this, on these particular platforms. He doesn't care because Oleksander Usyk, as far as I'm concerned, is living his best life. You know what I mean? He's two-time undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And he's doing everything that he wanted to do. Because remember, when he retires, he wants to play football. And that's what he's doing, playing football. You know what I mean? And, yeah, he was actually in a game with, it was a charity game in Portugal alongside Michael Owen, John Terry, and Hendrik Larson, okay, despite recovering from a back injury, and I don't know if his back injury needed surgery. It's very little about the injury. We just got the back injury maybe a week and a half ago, because before that it was just wear and tear. So if you look at wear and tear versus back injury, I'm assuming it was something that he tweaked in his back if he didn't need surgery. Again, we don't know if he did or not. Obviously he didn't. Okay, we're not idiots, though, because if you think about it, if Usyk says, hey, I need surgery, and then you see him playing football, you're going to think like, do you need surgery, and why would you want to be playing football or charity football or any kind of football when you know you need surgery for this? Because what happens when you go into, when you get diagnosed to have surgery, or recommended, really, to have surgery, you're told to do everything light until you have surgery. And then it's a healing process. So that's a time right there, right? And then you can begin. You have to be cleared by the doctor that gave you the surgery to see if you're okay to do whatever you were doing. Not, hey, I have wear and tear. Hey, I have a back injury, but then yet I'm doing this. You know what I mean? So that's why I say Oleksander Usyk doesn't care. I don't think he cares about what people think, but they demand that to be done. But here's the pragmatic truth of it all. As far as Oleksander Usyk is concerned, the only thing that he needs to worry about is the WBO. And it doesn't matter anyway, because Joseph Parker, the guy that was next in line, is fighting the number one on the WBA end, Fabio Wardley. So he already has a fight. So he couldn't fight him next anyway, unless Usyk says, okay, I don't feel as bad because, hey, the cat's out of the bag. I do feel good enough to play soccer and, run. But, kicking, running, I mean, he's not throwing punches, though. So in his defense, if you are going to defend Oleksander Usyk, he's not throwing any punches. You know what I mean? And that's what you really, you kicking, so that's also including your back. But again, we don't know what he tweaked. We don't know really what happened with him. You know what I mean? And the details. That's why I would recommend for more transparency. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to give you an example. Do you guys remember when Jarrell Miller fought Andy Ruiz? And he was complaining about his hand.
Man, it's a pretty bad looking bone there, Andy.
In the 5th round, this is how it was. Man, like I said, you're a warrior, but I push it through. I push it through as much as I can. But my fucking hand, oh my gosh.
Right? And it was like the minute he said, hey, I hurt my hand. As soon as he said that, everyone in the audience started to boo because they seen that directly as an excuse. They saw that as an excuse out of this world, right? And then until he did what? Pulled that wrap off, and then you seen a bone sticking out of his hand. That was the only thing that cleared and saved Andy Ruiz's reputation right there, because it was sinking down fast. Okay? like an anvil. It was going quick because people were looking at that. Okay, boo, another excuse. That's why you couldn't get it done, until they saw it. And he was like, look, and he pulled that sucker out and his hand looked like a elbow or something. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he proved that, like, listen, this is what it is and this is how it works. I had an injury, I think, because he was transparent, in other words, Andy was. And I think Alexander Usyk should do the same, because that shuts a lot of people up. That takes a lot of the speculation out. The proof is being shown. And then, you know, Usyk can do whatever he wants to do. But he's doing whatever he wants to do anyway, without anybody's approval or anybody's opinion. Okay? But the WBO, I don't know. I don't think it's a point at this point. Now, it could be one of those moments, you know, where he's just, you know, dead to rights if it's that bad. But again, we need all the details. We need all the info before really making a judgment on Usyk, you know, because if you're questioning his injury, you're questioning also his integrity. You know what I'm saying? Because that would make him a liar, you know, or a fraud, rather, which is the same thing, you know, in other people's eyes. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Alexander Usyk and people, the crowd, demanding him to be stripped of the WBO title. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!